Hey guys, I've never done a what's it called? A voiceover for any of my speed paints before, so it's gonna be a little adventure. I'm gonna see how I like it, and if it turns out okay, then I guess I'll do more of my videos like this. If I ever make videos. I always say I'm gonna make videos, and then like 2 years later I pop up with a 5-minute one and I'm done. But yeah, this was a commission for someone on DeviantArt of a couple of their OCs. It was pretty fun to do. It took me a while, actually. The full, like, all the videos of this put together are almost 8 hours, and I managed to speed it up to 20 minutes. So, this is sped up pretty fast. I think it was, I don't remember. Oh, let me check. This is sped up 2,800 times. Shit. Yeah, this is sped up quite a lot. But I hope it's not too fast. I hope you can still see what's going on. Yeah. What am I doing? Lining. Obviously. I'm doing line art. I generally do my line arts on one layer now. I used to use 50 billion layers plus Jesus and a half to do one line art, and it was always a mess, like editing it later on and trying to keep certain aspects separate from the rest of the line art and da-da-da-da. So I just figured now it's a lot easier to just do it all at once on one layer. Occasionally I add another layer, but this way is a lot more painstaking, I guess, because I have to be a lot more careful with how I place my lines. But I've gotten used to it, so I guess this works. The details in this kind of killed me while I was doing it, because I mean, overall it's a relatively simple outfit, but I wasn't counting on it being so, like, I want to say detail-oriented, but that doesn't make sense. So, detailed. I wasn't expecting it to be so detailed. There you go. English is not my strong suit right now. I apologize. Yay, liner's finished. Now I start getting into filling in the base colors. For this picture in particular, I already had colors mapped out after I did my sketch, so I just kind of put the swatch up there and went at it. But normally I spend a good amount of time fiddling with colors and taking forever, but this speeded it up quite a bit. Sped it up quite a bit. Fuck you, English. Here I'm using a different color other than black because her outfit is black on more black, so I needed brighter color so I could see exactly where I was filling in, because filling in black within black lines is a headache, and it makes it a lot easier to do it this way. Alright, base color is done. That took forever. I almost didn't include that in the video at all because it takes so long and no one likes watching people fill in colors, it's boring. But I wanted to keep every bit of my process while I did this picture in video, so I added it. I took it out twice, but then at the end I decided to put it back in. Now I'm doing skin. This is probably my favorite part of coloring anything. Just the skin. Like, if I could color the skin and then never do anything else ever again, I would, but then I'd have a lot of very unfinished and odd looking pictures, so I don't do that. Usually when I start coloring anything new, whether it be skin or clothing or hair or objects, what have you, I go in with an airbrush first, just to get the general, like, shading down, and then I go in and I defined it with a different brush. I used to use the marker tool in SAI a lot, but now I use a custom brush. It mimics, like, acrylics, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. If I remember, I'll do a video about, like, the brushes I use and stuff like that, because I haven't used the basic SAI brushes in a long time, so maybe I'll do that. So now I've started on clothes, and for her outfit, it was a lot easier to just shove each layer into a folder and then shade on top of the folder. With the multiply layer, just take a gray on a multiply layer that's clipped to the folder group and just shade. Because this way I only have to shade on one layer as opposed to shading 3 different layers. Oh, Snorlax below. But yes, this one was kind of, I won't say hard, it just, I had to pay a lot more attention to what I was doing because the pants are supposed to be leather, and leather creases and attracts light in very different ways compared to like denim or some other fabrics. So trying to convey the right texture while I was shading was weird. I ended up adding a texture later on anyway to just, I guess, really bring home the fact that her pants aren't normal pants. So that's what happened. I used a lot of airbrush to make the pants look smoother, and I think it really comes together when I add the highlights sometime later. I don't know what time it comes in. Sometime. But yeah, a lot of her outfit was leather, surprisingly. Because, like, parts of the corset are leather, and then the pants were leather, and then the belt was leather. It was a mess. But it was pretty fun to do. It was like a study. Oh, right. For that part of the outfit, I wanted it to be kind of like mesh. Like, obviously you can see through it, but it's hard to do sometimes with layers, especially with the color black, because lowering the opacity on the layer sometimes isn't enough. And trying to find the balance between, like, lowering the opacity enough so that you can see the shading of the skin underneath, but not completely hide the layer is tough sometimes, but I think I got it. It wasn't as noticeable as I wanted it to be, but whatever. At this point, it was late and I just wanted to finish this. What am I doing? Oh, the buckles and whatnot. This was fun. This was probably the easiest part, because shading on buckles is very straightforward, and like metal things. I didn't keep that color though. There you go, I changed it. Yeah, I think I changed that color too, because I didn't like how, I guess, brassy it looked. Oh, and then I started shading this dude. This was odd while I was doing it, because his half of the picture is a lot simpler than the girl's. Like, she's, you know, very involved and very dark, whereas he's just kind of like, look at me, I'm wearing a shirt and some pants, and he's much lighter compared to her. And so trying to shade this shirt, I was being a lot more, I don't know. I guess I was still in the mindset that I was in when I was shading her half of the picture, because by the time I got to him, I was adding details where it wasn't necessary and it didn't look right, so I tried to dull it down a bit. God, these pants were a nightmare, because I like adding blues and purples and stuff to the darkest areas, because generally it helps. And in this case it did help, and I liked it at first, but then when I realized that blending the colors together would take a lot more effort than I originally intended, I started quitting because it was way too late at night and I wasn't down for that. So I had to adjust the colors and it wasn't cooperating. Like, I tried desaturating it and then changing the color with an overlay layer, and then that didn't work because the color was too bright and I didn't feel like fiddling with it. So then I went back and I just started like reshading the parts that were blued out, and it just it ended up being too much effort for what I was trying to do in the first place. I think I'll be getting to hair soon. Sometime soon. Maybe now. No. Yes! Hair. So again, I went in with the airbrush and did basic shading. The darkest parts I did with blue, and the area around the face I chose, I color picked the skin and then airbrushed like around the bangs and stuff like that. Just because with dark hair it highlights the face more and it's not so stark of a contrast between, you know, the hair and the skin tone. And at the same time it highlights the face so that you kind of stare more at that. If that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making sense anymore. I'm tired. Short hair is a lot harder for me to do than long hair is, because long hair, it's really more just long strokes, like long broad strokes, and whatever you mess up you can fix with another, like, it's a lot easier to do for me. But short hair, it's more precise, like where I place shadows and stuff like that. And trying to keep it neat while I'm shading, which is always the hardest thing to do. So his hair gave me just, ugh, it pissed me off because I knew I was almost done and then I got stuck because it wasn't turning out how I wanted to, and I almost scrapped it and started over, but I was too far gone. It was in too deep. Yeah, we're nearing the end. I like to add like extra hair strands on top of the line art and stuff like that. Just to, I don't know, it looks nice. I think it looks nice. If it looks like shit, please let me know. And textures. Textures make the world go round. Yep, there was that leather texture. I guess I made the pants more believable. You can't even tell on the video. It looks better in full dress. I promise. And I think it's about done. Thanks for watching, guys. If you made it through the whole video, then good on you. Appreciate you for sticking around. Feel free to subscribe if you liked what you saw, and I'll have a link to both of my art galleries down below. Bye!